When I discovered this banned mental technique powerful people tried to buy my silence, instead I'm sharing it with you, but this message won't stay up long. What you're about to discover was never meant to leave the inner circles of power. Right now there are forces working tirelessly to ensure this message never reaches you. Let me take you back to 3 years ago. I was just like you, grinding harder than everyone else, but constantly being overlooked. It felt like they had a secret advantage I couldn't figure out. And you know what they did? Through a series of events I still can't disclose, I met someone who changed everything. A mentor who had privately coached the minds behind the world's most powerful hedge funds and corporations. What he shared with me wasn't just advice, it was a forbidden framework for mental dominance so potent it's been intentionally hidden from the public. At first I doubted it. How could something so transformative be kept under wraps? But then I tried it. Within months everything shifted. My mind operated on a whole new level. Creativity, focus, problem solving, it all felt effortless. My income didn't just double, it quadrupled. That's when the pushback started. Strange calls, legal threats, subtle warnings. The message was clear. This knowledge wasn't meant for people like us. It was reserved for the cognitive elite, the ones pulling the strings behind the scenes. I know I'm taking a risk by sharing this, but I can't sit by and watch brilliant minds waste their potential. You deserve to know the truth. Fair warning, this video might not stay up for long. If you're hearing this, it means you're one of the lucky few. Pay close attention, because I'm about to reveal the exact mental protocol that Fortune 500 executives pay $50,000 an hour to learn. In the next few minutes you'll uncover a hidden cognitive framework that turns genius-level thinking into second nature. The shocking truth about how traditional education is deliberately designed to suppress your true mental potential. A simple 3-minute mental shift capable of unlocking the untapped power of your brain. The secret strategy the elite used to stay in control and maintain their dominance over the rest of us. Let's start with the hidden cognitive framework, the key to making genius thinking automatic. Most people approach problems linearly. They think step by step, relying on past knowledge and traditional methods. But here's the secret: true genius doesn't follow a straight line. It operates in mental loops, constantly connecting ideas, testing assumptions, and finding patterns. Others miss this framework, which I call the loop of genius. Has 3 core elements. 1. Input expansion. Feed your brain with diverse, high-quality information. Most people stick to one source or perspective, but the elite consume knowledge from multiple disciplines, even ones that seem unrelated. 2. Dynamic processing. Instead of passively absorbing information, question it, break it down, reframe it, and connect it to other ideas. This is where creativity is born. 3. Outcome optimization. Don't settle for the first solution. Iterate, test, refine. The elite never stop at good enough. They aim for game-changing. But why haven't you been taught this? That brings us to the second point: why traditional education is designed to limit your potential. Think back to your school days. You were probably told to sit still, memorize facts, and follow instructions. Creativity discouraged, questioning the system punished. This wasn't by accident. The traditional education system was designed during the Industrial Revolution to create workers, not leaders, not innovators, and definitely not independent thinkers. The result: most people leave school with a limited mental toolkit, unaware of the untapped potential in their own minds. But here's the good news: you can break free from this conditioning. All it takes is one shift, a shift that only takes 3 minutes. This shift is called mental rebooting. Here's how it works. 1. Pause whenever you face a challenge. Stop reacting. Take 3 deep breaths and clear your mind. 2. Reframe. Ask yourself, what's the real problem here? Often the issue isn't what it seems. 3. Reimagine. Think of at least 3 unconventional solutions. Even if they seem crazy, write them down. This process rewires your brain to think differently. It forces you out of autopilot and into a state of creative problem solving, and now for the most controversial part, how the elite exploit this secret to maintain their dominance. The elite don't just use this framework. They weaponize it by staying ahead in their thinking. They manipulate markets, control narratives, and maintain their grip on power. They've built systems to ensure that only a select few ever learn these methods. But here's the truth: they don't want you to know their advantage isn't innate and now you're learning it. Till you've just scratched the surface of what's possible. Here's your first step. Over the next 24 hours, try the 3-minute mental shift I just shared. Use it on a real challenge you're facing and watch how your perspective changes. Remember, the elite want you to stay in the dark, but you're no longer in their shadow. You're stepping into the light, into your potential. If you've made it this far, congratulations. Most people would have already clicked away, too distracted or too afraid to challenge the system that's been holding them back. But not you. You're still here, and that tells me something. You're ready for more. You now know the foundational framework that powers the minds of the elite: input, expansion, dynamic processing, and outcome optimization. You've learned how traditional education has deliberately limited your potential, and how a simple 3-minute mental shift can unlock a level of thinking you didn't know was possible. But that's just the beginning. Now let's take this to the next level. It's time to explore how you can use this framework not just to improve yourself, but to influence, lead, and outthink anyone in your way. Here's something the elite understand better than anyone else: success isn't just about what you know, it's about how you make others feel. The most powerful people in the world aren't just thinkers. They're influencers. They know how to control the room, shape opinions, and guide decisions without ever appearing forceful. How do they do it? Through what I call cognitive leverage. It's the ability to position yourself as the most valuable person in any situation. And here's the best part: you don't need to be the smartest or the most experienced person in the room to do it. Cognitive leverage has 3 steps. 1. Perception. Control. People believe what they see. By presenting yourself as calm, confident, and in control, you instantly gain authority. Even if you don't feel confident, act like it. Your body language and tone of voice will do the heavy lifting. 2. Strategic listening. Most people listen to respond. The elite listen to understand by truly hearing what others are saying and even what they're not saying. You gain insights that allow you to guide the conversation in your favor. 3. Value injection. Always ask yourself, how can I make this person's life easier or better? When you position yourself as someone who solves problems, people naturally gravitate toward you and trust your judgment. Now imagine combining this influence with the mental framework you've already learned. Not only will you think faster and smarter, but you'll also become the person others look to for answers, for leadership, for direction. I know what you might be thinking: this sounds great in theory, but can it really work for me? Let me remind you, I was exactly where you are. I wasn't born into privilege or handed a manual for success. Everything I've learned, I've applied step by step, and the results have been life-changing. So here's your next step. Over the next week, practice cognitive leverage in every interaction. Start small. Focus on controlling your perception, listening strategically, and adding value at the same time. Keep using the 3-minute mental shift to approach problems creatively. Combine these tools and you'll start to see how they amplify each other. But there's one final piece to this puzzle, something the elite use to ensure their influence is not only effective but irresistible. It's a method so subtle most people don't even realize it's being used on them. You've come further than most ever will. You've learned the framework to unlock your mind, and you've started to see how influence can amplify your power. But we're not done yet. What I'm about to share is the final piece, the technique that separates the truly powerful from everyone else. It's subtle, nearly invisible, but once you understand it, you'll see it being used everywhere. This technique is called emotional anchoring. It's the secret weapon of the elite, the ability to control not just what people Think but how they feel about you, your ideas and your decisions. Why is this so powerful? Because people don't act based on logic, they act based on emotion. You can anchor the right emotions to yourself and your message you become irresistible. Here's how it works. 1. Create positive association. Think about the last time someone made you feel truly understood or valued. Chances are you trusted them more, listened to them more, and were drawn to them. This is no accident. The elite used this to their advantage by consistently creating positive emotional experiences for the people around them. How to do it? In every interaction, focus on making the other person feel seen, heard, and important. Compliment them sincerely, acknowledge their ideas, use their name off to control the emotional environment. Emotions are contagious. If you bring calm, confidence, and certainty into a room, others will mirror it. If you bring tension or doubt, they'll pick up on that. 2. How to do it before any interaction. Take a moment to reset your emotional state. Breathe deeply, visualize success, and enter with the energy you want others to feel. 3. Anchor emotions to your message. The most powerful messages aren't just heard, they're felt. The elite use stories, metaphors, and vivid imagery to make their ideas stick emotionally. How to do it? When presenting an idea, ask yourself, what emotion do I want this person to feel? Then craft your message to evoke that emotion. For example, if you want to inspire action, tell a story of overcoming adversity. If you want to build trust, share a moment of vulnerability. Let's say you're pitching an idea to a group. Instead of jumping straight into the facts, start with a story that grabs their attention and makes them feel connected to your vision. Then tie that story back to your main point. By the time you present the facts, they're already emotionally invested and far more likely to agree with you. Now, you might be thinking this sounds manipulative, but here's the truth. Manipulation happens when these techniques are used selfishly. Influence, on the other hand, is about creating win-win situations. It's about using these tools to bring out the best in yourself and others. Here's your next step. Over the next 3 days, practice emotional anchoring in your conversations. Start small. Focus on creating positive associations, controlling your emotional environment, and anchoring emotions to your ideas. Observe how people respond. You'll notice subtle shifts: more trust, more openness, more willingness to follow your lead. In the next segment, I'll show you how to take everything you've learned and turn it into a system so effective it can transform your relationships, your career, and your life. Until then, remember, knowledge is power, but applied knowledge is unstoppable.